Very unusual shiur from the ICU of Tel Hashomer, right next to the airport. My suitcases are still here. I came from the plane, basically down to the ICU. And Baruch Hashem, I had miracles. We'll talk another time about this. Right here, asked Hashem to allow us to give the shiur just to show that, he appreciates this Torah we're learning every Wednesday night. A little bit of side on the Parasha, and he made it possible. They give me the right to give a short shiur here. So let's start with the pasuk. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sending Moshe Rabbeinu for a mission. So we're going to talk about the Geula. He tells him, I'm going to send you to Paroi. I will send you to Paroi and take out the Bnei Israel from Mitzrayim. That's the mission. Moshe gets into a discussion with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he says, you know what? He says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bnei Israel. Okay, here I'm going to the Bnei Israel. I'm sorry, you're going where? To the Bnei Israel? Your mission is not to go to the Bnei Israel. Your mission is to go to Paro. So what are you going to do by the Bnei Israel? And I tell them, God of your father sent me to you. They say, what is his name? What am I supposed to answer? What do you mean, Moshe Rabbeinu, what you're supposed to answer? Since when the Bnei Israel are going to tell you, you say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me, say, what's his name? When did this happen? Since when we recognize HaKadosh Baruch Hu by his name? How is it possible? Then the pasuk, the answer of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is even stranger than what we just asked. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, Vayomer Elokim al Moshe, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Moshe, Keye asher keye. Whoa, the one and only time we're going to see that name. This is the name of the Geula. Really? So why don't we say it more often? Why is it repeated only one time in the Torah? How do you expect the Bnei Israel to know Keye Asher Keye if they never heard it? So how are you going to tell them, oh, you know what? It's Keye Asher Keye. They're going to tell you, you know what? We never heard that name. We don't trust you, Moshe Rabbeinu. So what's going on in this whole Parasha? Where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trying to give us the side of the Geula for every galus. And this side of the Geula of every galus is in front of our eyes here. But we do not understand how this works. Keye asher keye. The Midrash says, when Moshe Rabbeinu asked, Ma Shemoy, they're going to ask me what's his name. HaKadosh Baruch Hu teaches a lesson to Moshe Rabbeinu, and he tells him, you have to understand. You people have a name, encompasses you. You are inside the name. Because really the name is the name of Hashem. Remember, shame of a person is Yud Ke Vav Ke Shakai. So the person is smaller than the names of Hashem. So he goes inside his name. So the name encompasses him. However, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is bigger than all the names. The names are only a projection of his actions. So Hashem says, I'm called Elohim when I judge the Rishaim. I am called Kel Shakai when I basically hold my wrath on people that should be punished. I give them time to make tshuva. Hashem says, my name is Tzevakis when I punish the Rishaim, or the enemies of Israel and so forth. And so is Kehye Asher Kehye. You wonder. No, Hashem gave us a pshat, the Midrash gives us a pshat. Why sometimes we see Hashem under the name Elohim? Why under the name Hashem, Yud Ke Vav Ke, which is Rachamim, the Chasadim? Why Kel Shakai? So it's always not an action that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is undertaking here. So it gives you a flavor of what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trying to do in his... if you see that in the Pasuk, you basically see exactly what's happening. But Keye Asher Keye is staying short of giving us a definition. You give us a definition for Elohim, you give us a definition for Yud Ke Vav Ke, you give us a definition for Kel Shaka, you give us a definition for Tzevakis. And now you're telling me, you're mentioning Yud Ke Vav Ke, but you stay short of giving us the definition. Why is that? So how are we supposed to answer and understand the definition of Keye Asher Keye? Here, we're going to go into a big side, and I'm going to try to explain it very simply, but it's a continuation a little bit of what we learned last week, which is going to put, the Kriya Shema, the power of Kriya Shema. We're going to see it again here for the Geula. So when you take the tefillin, we're wearing two boxes, one on the hand, tefillin shel yad, and one on the head, tefillin shel rosh. In the tefillin shel rosh, which is the more kodesh, we have 4 batim, four houses in there, which house each one of the parashas, of the 4 parashas of the tefillin. In the tefillin shel yad is only one house, and the 4 parashas are all in one parchment, and they're rolled in and put inside the tefillin shel yad. But essentially, they're exactly the same parashas between both of them. They just housed a different way. And that gives a different dusha to the tefillin. Says the Ari HaKadosh in Shara Kavanos that in the parashas of the tefillin, there are 21 times Yud Ke Vav Ke. We call this Chaf Aleph 21 times Askaros, the name of Hashem. 21 times the name of Hashem. He says 21 equals Kehye. That's the reason that we have the name Kehye, that's in order to hint us the name Kehye in the tefillin. Very good. He says the fact that we have 4 parashas, it's keneged the 4 letters Yud Ke Vav Ke. 4 houses against the 4 letters Kehye, Aleph, Hey, Yud, Hey. Here, let me explain you something because you need just a little bit of insight. Yud Ke Vav Ke is considered the name of the Chochmah, the male. Kehye is the name in the Bina, the female. The female always houses the male. So the houses, the batim, are always in the Torah, the name of Kehiyeh. The oir is always, the light that goes inside these houses is always the name Yud-Ke Vav-Ke. So now you will see with this little introduction what you will understand. If you take 21 times 26 equals 546. 546 equals Kehye Asher Kehye equals 543. Now you have three words. If you take the kotel of each word, says Dari HaKadosh, that's not my gematria, it's Dari HaKadosh here. He says if you take the kotel of each one, equals 546. When you wear the tefillin, you're wearing, so they're the same parasha. So you have Kehye Asher Kehye on top and Kehye Asher Kehye on the arm. But they go, we'll explain what's happening with the tefillin. This is the godless of the side of the tefillin. So once you're wearing the tefillin with a little bit of kavana, automatically you activate the name of the geula. Kehye Asher Kehye. The 21 names of Hashem start shining. The oil start coming out. Wearing the tefillin, dolly, without doing anything, without having an insight, without having kavana, just making the mitzvah, won't cut it. However, when you wear the tefillin, what we call bitchilu or chimu, with yira and ahava, you understand this is the mitzvah Kadosh Baruch Hu told you to do, but not for his benefit, for your benefit. Because right now you're being showered by the name Kehye Asher Kehye. So what is this name here is doing? Because we have it on the Tefillin Shel Rosh and we have it on the Tefillin Shel Yad. It's great. Now we documented it. So every day we're dealing with that name. Even though it's written only once in the Torah, every time we're dealing with. With this, we're going to answer one question we asked at the beginning. I'm going to share with you against the page. הנה אנוכי בא לבני ישראל ואמרתי להם אלוהי כי אבויסכם שלחני עליכם. I'm missing the right pasuk here. Sorry, 1 second. It's here. Where is it? No, it's Hashem will tell Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem Eloki Avoisechem Shalachani Aleichem. So there's another pasuk afterward. Maybe I have it in my vote here. I'll say the Geula. Let's see if I have it here. Yes. Here it is. Now I'm going back here. Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, this is what you're going to tell the Bnei Israel. Hashem Eloike Avoisechem. Bnei Israel said Kriya Shema, so they know the name of Hashem. But what he means, Eloike Avoisechem, Eloike Avraham, Eloike Yitzchak, Eloike Yaakov. What's going on here? But you told us that it's Kehye Asher Kehye. That's the name of the Geula. So why do you tell them Hashem Eloike Avoseichem? Because Hashem Eloike Avoseichem equals Keye Asher Keye. Hashem introduces them, so it's hiding. So to Moshe Rabbeinu, when he spoke in the Pasuk, he tells us the Soid, what's the name of the Geula. We'll explain exactly how this name is and why it's the Geula. However, when he explains to the Bnei Israel, after mentioning it once, we don't need to mention it so many times. So he says, Hashem Eloike Avoseichem, and he hides it behind the words that it's Keye Asher Keye. Now you're going to understand what this means in terms of effect. So we have in the Tefillin Shel Rosh and the Tefillin Shel Yad, we have Keye Asher Keye, and each one of them can take a person and get him out, not only from the Geula as a klal, but for a Geula as a person. Why? Because when a person becomes an Adam, the Gemara says in Brachos Vav Amud Aleph that the same way we wear tefillin, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wears tefillin. What do you mean HaKadosh Baruch Hu wears tefillin? Meaning when you wear tefillin down here with a purpose, it's like HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So you have the Adam Tachton, the Adam down here, and the Adam on top, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, wearing tefillin at the same time in full communion. In other words, when you elevate yourself, because you're putting thoughts in the mitzvah, you're becoming an Adam. And once you do something down below, you trigger that on top, HaKadosh Baruch Hu also wears tefillin, stating inside, Mike Amecha Yisrael, who's like your people, Yisrael, like your nation, your children. The Adam equals 45. Geula equals 45. When a person wants a Geula, he cannot stay as a Ben Adam, like a level too low. He has to elevate himself to the level of Adam. He's a Ben Israel. He's an Adam, so he can match the upper figures that were tefillin, and him in counterpart is also wearing tefillin, and this is Keye Asher Keye. Now you have a communion. And I'll explain it also exactly how it works. Keye Asher Keye works when you have your tefillin, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu has his tefillin, and automatically it gets together, and the oil that comes from there is the oil of Cherus, is the oil of Atzlacha. It's the Bina. It's the oil of the Bina. So it's tremendous love. The Ari HaKodesh says, adds in the Likutei Torah, that Keye is like, I forgot how we call this again. You know, the cover for the sword. You put the sword in its shelf, or I forgot what it's called. So the name Keye,
Sheath.
Sheath. Thank you for whoever said it. Thank you.
Sure, Jaime. No problem.
Oh, Jaime, speak English. So once you have this, it means inside there's always the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So you have the Keye as a cover, but the Keye is from the female side. The female side is always the left side, the Gvuras. The right side is the Chasadim. You remember in Egypt, at the same time there were punishments for the Egyptians, there were bracha, light, freedom for the Jews. Because the name Keye didn't come alone, it came with the name Yud-Ke Vav-Ke inside. And that was the Geula. So Keye Asher Keye now gives us a little bit more of the insight that it has the name of Chasadim inside. If you see, Hashem said this sentence here. By Chamishi, he says, and tell them, Leze Shemi Le'olam. You see that Le'olam is missing a Vav. The Gemara says, Le'elem, means it's hidden. Which name is hidden is the name Yud-Ke Vav-Ke, which is always hidden inside the name Keye. Veze Zichri Le'doyer Doyer. And this is my memory for forever, from generation. So the name Keye Asher Keye will be the name that will keep on coming back for generation after generation. If you take, for instance, the 4 Galus we had, Bavel, Madai Paras, Yavan, Edom, equals 546. Keye Asher Keye. This is the side of this pasuk that forever, exactly like Rashi brought, for all the tsaris that Am Yisrael goes through, the way out is always through the name Keye Asher Keye. In other words, with the Torah of Dari HaKodesh, now we learn that when a person has the tefillin on his head, and he knows that the Keye Asher Keye is on his head and on his hand, and he's thinking that at the time, if I wear tefillin, I say my Leshem Yichud before wearing tefillin, I'm connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and his tefillin. And at that point, the name Keye Asher Keye comes in power. What happens? Then you can use it for anything you want. Says the Chida HaKadosh, and it's brought down by the Ben Yoyada, what's his name? The Ben Ish Chai on Yuma, that anyone that's in the tzara, and he says, Yehi Rotzoin, Shem Keye Asher Keye, that you're going to do my demand, and whatever it is, and repeat it 3 times, from the Yehi Rotzoin all the way to the end. Right away, he's Nishan. Other way, he sees salvation. I repeat, the Ben Ish Chai, the Chida HaKadosh. Both of them bring it. The power of Keye Asher Keye. Now, can you believe what's happening when a person says Kriya Shema with a tefillin at the same time? So before I go there, last week in the Zohar, we spoke about saying Kriya Shema with Kavana. And we saw that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends the dew and the man to the person, opens his eyes, so many sguras. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Ze Shemi le'olam v'ze zichri le'dor, this pasuk, this is the trademark of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is his signature. This is, in here, is included so many things. The signature of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Emes. Emes is Keye times Keye. 21 times 21 equals 441, Emes. This is the signature of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When a person wears tefillin with kavana, it's exactly like Paro when he gave his seal to Yosef to becomes him the Melech. Automatically, the person becomes the reigning power over all the upper powers, and anything that makes his life miserable, he can stop it, because now he has the choisam, the seal of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're going to prove it. You see, le'olam means a vav, Mrs. a vav, le'dor Mrs. vav, exactly like this equals 1239. Just for the sake of not rewriting it down, or you know what, I'm just going to copy it. This is an important one. You see where we begin with that. Control V equals 1239. This equals to 21 times 59. You know this pasuk? Israel. I will be like dew for Israel. This dew, it's called the dew of Trias Amazing. Katal is the 39 lights that can revive even dead people. K8's 21. Katal is 59. 21, 59. When a person has kavana in the tefillin, automatically he has the upper dew coming upon him. And once this dew is coming, these are the tal oires, the 39 lights, original lights that never lose power going through the worlds. They look as from the source. And he's getting freedom from anything that stresses him, that the sickness or anything. I want to tell you something. It's not for a simple reason we gave a share last week on the side Kriya Shema. When I was in bed here, and I didn't know what was happening to me. I just knew something was very wrong. I could feel it in my chest. You know, you can see the marks. I mean, I fainted. I fell on metal, and I was bleeding from all over here. I didn't know, but I knew one thing. I know that I had just learned, and I told you part of it, but I just learned the whole side of Kriya Shema. And that's exactly what I did. I said, Hashem, I don't know any other thing to save me in this time besides the power of Kriya Shema. And I did it 4 times with the whole kavanas of the Kriya Shema. And I say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with this, I'm sure you will save me. We'll have another time to tell you about the miracle that happened here, that even the professor was losing his English. And it's just not normal what happened. But Baruch Hashem, I became very calm after that. I was very confident that the power of Kriya Shema will work. But the results were beyond expectation. Beyond expectation. Just this morning, to tell you what happened, they were preparing me for surgery. And because I had a double thrombosis in the heart, and they blocked both lungs. So it was lethal. It was life-threatening, and they didn't know at what minute it's going to go the wrong way. So they had to act very quick. Somehow, the main professor came down here. He has a fellowship in Boston, in Los Angeles, a big guy. He says, I don't know, make another EKG and make another, forgot what it's called, a scan of the heart and the arteries. He comes back to me like a little bit ticked off, and he tells me, I don't know what to tell you. You're a miracle. You have no surgery. Go eat. And he leaves me. Whoa, I said, what's going on here? He left me on my hunger. So they go back and I see them, the whole thing, they bring the whole stuff talking and everything. Then they come back to me and they said, so the right side of the heart, basically, was by me, which was affected, which is usually smaller than the left side of the heart, got much bigger and deformed. So the ventricle was not working anymore. So the blood was going through. You couldn't push the blood to the lungs and give oxygen. Plus, you had the two clots, and I remained. How you doing? They asked me. I said, perfectly fine. I said, I'm fine. Was happy. Was learning in my bed the whole time. I didn't budge. And I say, I have full emunah that this is what I've learned. I've learned it from in the Chida, we brought the Zohar last week, we brought the Ariya Kodesh and everything. And this week I came on a crazy gematria. After everything I told you from the Ari, I said, Keye Asher, Keye really equals 543, equal Emes and Emunah. Emes is the midah of the Tiferes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Emunah is the Malchus, tremendous yichud. And I said, this is exactly what I'm going to do. The Keye Asher Keye. So I'm not coming to give you a shiur today on a theory. I'm telling you today, it's on a practical point. When the doctor came, he came with all his students and everything. He said, we never seen that. Their heart got back into shape and got back all his functions. I mean, he told me most of this function. I said, there's nothing we can do for you anymore. I said, tomorrow you're going into observation. So we just want to keep you in ICU just to make sure one more day. But Bes Hashem, tomorrow, I'm going into observation. Says, we cannot explain it. I said, Doc, I can explain it. I didn't want to go into, I saw these where they're harsh Israelis guys. And so I said, I'm still going to tell you, I'm a believer in God. And this is an act of God. He is the ultimate Roife, he's the ultimate healer and everything. When they left, the Arab doctors came back here. He said, you're a religious person. What did you do? We know you did something. Tell us, what did you do? I say, I promise you, I didn't do nothing. The only thing I did is I had 1,000,000% trust in God. Whatever you guys were talking and giving me bad news, it was not even entering my ears. I said, I was deaf to it. You saw me. I said, I was confident. I was happy. I was fine. Tell me, no, we realized that we were talking among ourselves that this is an attitude that a person that's sick, when he's like this, he's healing himself. Says, now God healed me, and this is what happened. Emes ve'emunah, the choisam of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. No matter who came here, which power came here and hit me at that time, it was a very harsh hit, I don't tell you what I went through Monday in emergencies and how many tests and the panic of the doctors. Everywhere I was moving, I had doctors because they had to make sure that it was not moving the thrombosis. Otherwise, it would be lethal. So they were all panicking, even when they were driving me to CT scan. I mean, it was a whole ordeal. But, my brothers came to meet me. I said, guys, don't flinch. Kriya Shema is here. I'm not fearing anything. So, and Baruch Hashem, look at this. 2 days in ICU. Tomorrow is the 3rd day. But okay, I'm 83 days. But Baruch Hashem, I go in without going under the knife or going under anything. And I let them wonder about, what happened, but what happened. The Keye Asher Keye. We have the power of changing the reality. Karev Hashem lekoirav. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is close to the people that call him. Asher yikra uhu be'emes, who called him with emes, which is the emes? Always had that question. Here, I understood the pshat of that pasuk. The emes is even when you wear tefillin here. I told them here, don't bother me. I have to daven and I have to wear tefillin. Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam, I said, please give me my time. I've been very, easy with you. Whenever you want to take from me blood, I'm pinched all over. But I said, I haven't said a word. I'm very easygoing. But when I daven, you are easygoing. You give me an hour. And I daven with the and this is when I realized the Keye can do more than miracles. I wanted to finish on just to show you how this relates to what we've learned last week. Let me find it through here. Oh, sorry, it's not here. Okay, when we finish on that pasuk here, yes, it's the dew of life, because this is the choisam of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but it's equal also to Kriya Shema Bizmana. To do Kriya Shema in its time is also the choisam of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and this is what brings life to a person. So we see it coming from both angles. Zeshmi le'olam v'zezichri le'doyador. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells the Bnei Yisrael, whenever you're going to be, in any type of tzara, in any type of geula, raise yourself, be an Adam, to the image of the upper images, a person. Adam equals 45, equals geula, equals the name of Hashem in Olam HaYetzirah. But I'm not going to go into this now. Why? Because you are in full communion. You have HaKadosh Baruch Hu across from you now with his tefillin, and you have the Keye Asher Keye available. Use it. Speak to Hashem. Tell him, I need this Yeshua. I'm in a big tzara. These nasty mouths say all kind of things that's supposed to happen, and I don't want any of this to happen. I have a share to give. I say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if our Torah pleases you, what we say on Wednesday night, please don't make me miss my share. I said, this year will tell me the answer. And Baruch Hashem, to be in an ICU, giving a share like this, and having these people that believe in nothing, letting me do it, middle of the night, it's already in itself a miracle. But while I lived here, and I shared with you, because I shared with you what happened, and Bezas Hashem, tomorrow night, I'm giving the share on the Zohar for the Kriya Shema from Yerushalayim Yer HaKodesh. I hope by tomorrow night to be released. And I don't care if they're getting crazy and they're going to write all kind of essay on, they're going to try to rationalize what happened to me based on the attitude, based on this. I don't care what they do. I know, and you know the truth. The truth only came because Keye, and on Kriya Shema, I really did the Kriya Shema with the Kavanah to be saved, with the Kavanah to be healed. Now you can find out I'm in the biggest hospital in Israel. I'm in Tel Hashomer, where Rabbi Shimon Badani was also in Sheba. He was not far from me. And I believe when he left this world, he was a Kodesh Kodashim. He healed me also. But the shock I saw on their face and the shock I lived today, the counter shock was really to the point that, this is practical. This is putting a share in practice. You're saying that anyone that needs, we've been touching, I think, some important Seidas here, and we put them into action. And Baruch Hashem, we've seen relief And the HaKadosh Baruch Hu really answers his people, even today when we call through these channels. They're still open, they're still here. For everyone needs, in every personal need, you will see a Yeshua. Amen. I see you both all over Bez Hashem. Tomorrow night we're going to learn, we're going to follow up on the Zohar and Kriya Shema. Have a good night, everyone. Call to sorry.
Unfortunately,
Thank you,
Amen.
Papa.
Thank you very much. I mean, I'm just as inspired as you are, because when you come to here, you don't know what you're going to do. You don't know who you're going to call. I know quite a few Mekubalim, obviously. I've learned by a few of them. And I didn't know what I was going to do. But I decided this time, I'm talking to the biggest one. I'm talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm not talking to anyone. I said, it's not a coincidence. I started writing in the plane about this shiur, about the Keye Asher Keye. I finished it in a hospital. It's also not a coincidence. And I said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is talking to me. You're taking the sandwich by 2 volts, the Kriya Shema and the Keye Asher Keye. Do it. And you're going to see the face of the, it's a pity I didn't think of I'm not videoing but I should have done that. See their faces with all the doctors that came from the ICU here and telling me, well, we prepared you, but you're not going through surgery. I mean, after being fast, after the fast, after everything, and you're not going through it. Baruch Hashem. This is a miracle of a level I've never seen in my life. And I thank Hashem from the bottom of my heart.
Baruch Hashem, we're all happy.
Thank you.
Chesed.
Thank you, Chesed Hashem. You teach us a lesson.
Yeah.
You're true inspiration, Pops.
Even if we don't deserve, even if it doesn't seem, that there is an outcome and there's a possibility, you calm yourself down and you're totally connected with Hashem. He's the one who gives life. I told them, I said, whatever you said to me, I knew in my heart, if Hashem decided it's my time, whatever you do, you would not save me. On the other hand, if Hashem decided it's not my time, whatever your mouth spews out will never happen. I said, I was not with you. I was never with you. I was connected all the way up there. All the time you were talking, I said, I didn't take any, it didn't affect me. I didn't even listen to them. My brother was listening, panicking, but me, I didn't even listen to them. I was laughing about all this. So Baruch Hashem, the end is, we see Mamish this year.
Baruch Hashem, thank you, Hashem.
Yeah, thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for everything. And each one in his own life can use this every day. We do it. Every day we were feeling. Every day HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us the Keye Asher Keye. He was able to take the Bnei Israel from Mitzrayim. He can take us from the Mitzarim. Mitzrayim means the limits, the barriers. You're in jail. You can explode the jail. Every week, every day, you can put yourself on a different platform where you cannot be accessed by all the other dark forces. You can be there. You think, oh, how am I going to do for my child and everything? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the ultimate. He is the life. Through him, we can do everything we want. And we should take advantage because we've learned it. Yaakov gave us the soil last week. This week, we see Moshe Rabbeinu tells the Bnei Israel how to be zoiche to the geula, Kriya Shema bizmano. Doing Kriya Shema in its time. All right. I don't want to abuse the thing and they're going to throw me out of here. So have a good night, everyone.
All right.
And we'll
Before
see you
Shalom.
from your
Before
from your
Shalom.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Excellent.
Thank you for your feelings. Thank you for everything. It was
Excellent.
inspiring.
Great.